Ready to begin your business? Should you be an LLC or a C corporation? How do you track the cost of goods versus operating supplies? What are your depreciable assets? Are you structured to obtain business credit? Not sure? Get a boss. An individual business operations success suite from Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services will position your business for success and avoid the pitfalls of startups. From registering with your state, operating agreements, bookkeeping, tax filings, and more, Elite 8 Tax and Financial Services can be your growth partner at every level of your business. Schedule your needs assessment today at www.elite8financial.com/boss or by phone at 469-412-0056.
Well, it's that time for our boss term of the week. Actually, I'm a little bit late on this one, but the start of tax season has been a little bit crazy, but no excuses. We just make adjustments and what have you. So go ahead and share the video if you haven't shared the video. This segment is the opportunity for you guys to deepen your financial vernacular and business vernacular each week with me going in on my perspective on a particular term. So go ahead and share the video, get your pen, get your paper, load up your questions, and we'll be back right after we pay some bills. Shout out to my man Dave Anderson with Business Bully TV. You'll be able to find Boss Talk Radio on there in the coming months as we are building up the content right now. But we're going to go ahead and talk about today's term, which is collaboration. And I'm sorry I had that on the slider there. Collaboration, the process of two or more entities or organizations working together to complete a task or achieve a goal. This last part right here, I believe, is why we don't have more of it. Most collaboration requires leadership. Good evening, Delshawn, Renee. How you doing today? Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining in. Let me know where you guys are coming from. Be sure to give StreamYard permission to use your name so I can shout you out accordingly and address any questions you have. So here's the thing. I'm a firm believer, and it's not a popular opinion, but I'm a firm believer that there's not anything that is needed in the Black community that we don't already possess. Now, pundits of that thought process will use every, I don't want to say excuse because their reasons are legitimate to some extent, especially in their minds. They will use everything from systemic racism to the powers that be, funding, so forth and so on. But did you know we could exist without a monetary type thing going on? Now, for those of us that provide a service that, revolves around money like myself, that may become a little bit more challenging. But in the grand scheme of things, we're primarily the inventors of all things. We're primarily the innovators of all things. So there's nothing that we really need that we don't already possess except the ability to collaborate. I think one of the reasons that we don't see more collaboration, and I can't even fault social media for this because this is as historic as I can recall across everything I've ever read or experienced. There's this need, there's this mindset where everybody wants to basically be in charge. Everybody wants to be the head or in the hierarchy where they're not able to be told what to do. But the reality is the great leaders come from their mentality of serving anyway. So if you're not ready to serve, then clearly you shouldn't want to be in the lead. Being the leader requires a certain discernment that is basically able to quarterback talent, if you would. Most leaders don't have any particular great talents themselves other than to recognize the talents of others and put people in the right places and empower them to embrace their gifts. So collaboration beats competition. This is a term I first came across in a book I read, Taking Back Your Lives in the Corporate Age, or what have you. And I came across that concept and I thought, wow, when you put it in perspective, who's really your competition and why do you consider them the competition? In the grand scheme of things, we have this disconnect where we see another person, looks like us, in business. And I've even seen where it's completely different industries and we hate and throw shade and look at this person as though they're somehow taking our market share. Listen, we're in a day and time where y'all can tell I just got warmed up a little bit, but we're in a day and a time where a lot of things that used to exist about business in the parameters of competition just don't really exist no more. Things like proximity, so forth and so on. I mean, if you have a web presence in the grand scheme of things, you are in, or you should be, doing global business. And when you think globally and you think of what a market share is globally, you have no reason to hate on your competition or your perceived competition. In fact, if you could collaborate with those people that are in your space or, can work with your industry, you'll grow faster. You'll get to where you're going at a quicker pace. But this need to lead or be perceived as the boss, that ego, that pride gets in a lot of people's way. It gets in the way of you being able to work with somebody that may be more successful than you. And them being more successful doesn't mean they're better than you or better at what you're doing than you are. It may mean they've done it longer. It may mean that they found some sort of a niche. It could even mean that they have a more likable personality that magnetizes people to them, that causes them to spend with them. But whatever it is, if you can find a way to collaborate with them where it's a win-win situation, now that's another reason that people don't collaborate. Last week we had on Sharita M. Humphreys, financial educator, and she talked about this interesting concepts, not a new concept, just the way she worded it, I thought was pretty good. She talked about the ecosystem versus the network. Too many times, some people are like serial networkers, but they're not accomplishing anything. They go to basically social party happy hours under the guise of business, and pass out cards, collect cards, hoping that somebody's going to call them about doing business. But the problem with those types of events is, first and foremost, nobody's really looking to leverage the relationships or whatever, or even develop the relationships. Too often, what you have is everybody seeking the opportunity. Everybody's looking for their favorite radio station, WIIFM, What's in it for me radio, where they just, see who they could prey on to gain or capture business. I've even been guilty of this in my younger days in business, because I didn't know how to value relationships, and I definitely didn't know how to leverage relationships. So I always just sought the opportunity. But it wasn't until I started to understand that me being able to benefit someone else is what creates the ecosystem that brings it all back to you. Once again, looking to serve, as I mentioned earlier. So I want to challenge you guys to think outside of the box. Look at your business and the needs that exist in your business. I get these calls all the time about funding, about credit, and things like that for your business, but you don't have the infrastructure to support that conversation. So I would encourage you to start to collaborate with people that can provide different things that you may need in your business, but go to the table not just with your need, or not just seeking an opportunity that's transactional or monetary, more or less, and look for the opportunity that you can bring value to what they are doing, how you can implement your gifts into what they are doing, how you can service them. And if you can find that, and you can measure or mark that against, the opportunity just to generate income, you might find that you can get what you need while giving someone else what they need. But in the process, instead of just servicing each other, what happens is you're now both exposed to each other's audience, because now you've developed the confidence in one another to promote this person's product or service, and vice versa, because you've done it yourself. You're a personal witness to it, and that's how the ecosystem develops. So again, collaboration beats competition. Put the ego aside, put the pride aside, and look at how you can start to work with people, and not just always pursuing the dollar, because that dollar is very, very evasive. I heard people say securing the bag, getting the bag, chasing the bag, so forth and so on. And here's just a reality. If you provide value, value is like that old Isley Brothers song. It always come back to you. Okay, I can't sing, but you get my point. Value always comes back to you, so you should always give it, and you'll never want for money or want for anything else. Collaboration beats competition. Collaboration beats competition. This has been your host, George Dandridge. This has been your term of the week, and we will see you guys later today with a real in-depth tax tip. You definitely want to have your pen and paper out for this one later on today. I'll talk to you guys later.